Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the core curriculum of Session 11 from our source materials to unpack a very precise methodology. We're talking about how to ensure your hard-won corporate cost reductions actually last forever. So if you've ever felt like your company's cost-cutting efforts are just a temporary Band-Aid, well, you are in exactly the right place. Let's get into it.
So let's just ask the tough question right out of the gate. If you cut costs today, will those exact same savings actually still be there next year? In a lot of organizations, a team pulls off a fantastic cost reduction. Everyone high fives, and then 6 months later, the expenses have crept right back up. Our source material makes it incredibly clear that simply reducing costs once is definitely not the finish line. Honestly, it's barely even the starting line. To transform a temporary win into a permanent asset, we're going to navigate 4 critical stages today: objective verification and reporting, standardization, company-wide expansion, and finally, AI and human review. Let's kick things off with stage 1, objective verification and reporting. Listen, an unverified win is basically just a rumor, right? To avoid falling for the illusion of success, we have to distinctly separate saving money you were already spending from simply avoiding a future expense. Our sources emphasize that cost saving and cost avoidance have vastly different financial impacts. Cost saving hits your current bottom line. It's a real reduction in actual current expenses. Cost avoidance, on the other hand, is just preventing a potential future cost from happening. If you mix these two up, say claiming you saved $1 million when you actually just negotiated a cheaper contract for parts you haven't even bought yet, you completely distort the financial reality of the project. The absolute crucial point here is that to prove your win is real, you've got to evaluate the performance under the exact same conditions using strict data. No assumptions allowed. You have to establish a clear baseline, and you really must account for normalized external conditions. Like if your unit cost went down, was it actually because of your brilliant new process, or did production volume just increase? Maybe that exchange rate just shifted in your favor. You have to isolate your specific impact using strict KPIs like manufacturing cost or productivity metric. And hey, when you're documenting all this, please don't skip the basic information. I know writing down the exact time frame, the specific department, and a clear title feels like total administrative busywork. But this is the foundational metadata your company actually needs to track success over time. If a report's title is vague or you forget the execution period, that data becomes practically useless for any future comparisons. All right, moving right along to stage 2, standardization that protects performance. Okay, we've officially verified our win, but now we face the biggest threat to our savings: time. Without standard operating procedures, our main villain, which is just human habit, takes over. Operators will gradually slip right back into their old, expensive ways. Whether it's because of different skill levels, slight changes in the machinery, or just human nature preferring the old way, without strict standardization, your verified savings are going to evaporate. As the quote goes, without control, standards fail and operations revert. To build a totally bulletproof shield against this backsliding, every single improvement has to go through a strict 4-step conversion mechanism. You can't just verify performance and walk away. You verify, you secure formal internal approval so it becomes the organization's official stance, you create the actual standard operating procedure, the SOP, and then you execute the expansion. Like we said, verifying the result is literally just the beginning. Following this exact 4-step conversion structure is absolutely vital. If you skip any of these stages, those savings will eventually vanish. This structured flow is the exact mechanism that takes an individual's great idea and converts it into a protected, company-wide asset. So what actually goes into a good SOP? Well, to properly standardize, you must clearly document the exact temperatures, the pressures, the speeds, and the methods your team needs to execute every single day. You cannot be vague here. Telling someone to run the machine faster is not an SOP. You need executable, highly specific management criteria. That includes inspection cycles and the exact steps to take if an error pops up. That's the only way you guarantee the same result every single time, no matter who is on shift. Which brings us to stage 3, company-wide expansion and value creation. Now that we're playing defense with standardization, let's switch over to offense. Sharing your standard procedures across the entire company turns an isolated local win into an exponential multiplier for organizational value.
Look, a local win is great for sure, but it's isolated. When you expand it company-wide through shared best practices, you reduce quality deviation globally. You speed up problem solving because different departments aren't wasting time fixing the exact same issues from scratch. You actually start building a true learning organization. When you apply one standardized success to multiple processes, you literally multiply the economic effect. By sharing the standard, cross-departmental collaboration goes up, decision-making gets way sharper, and the overall competitive edge of the entire business is strengthened. It is the ultimate way to leverage your initial hard work. And finally, stage 4, AI utilization and human review. Look, generative AI is a total game changer for speeding up this entire reporting and SOP creation process. It's an amazing catalyst for drafting documents and analyzing massive amounts of data. But we have to be incredibly cautious. Generative AI is totally prone to hallucinations, inventing data that looks perfectly real but is entirely fake. There's also the very real danger of automation bias, where we just get a bit lazy and blindly trust whatever the AI spits out. Plus, we have to be super careful not to feed highly sensitive, proprietary company data into public AI models. That's a massive security breach waiting to happen. Which brings us to a huge point. The human worker is not obsolete. In fact, your expertise is more important now than ever. Human review is absolutely mandatory. Let the AI generate the draft, sure, but you are the ultimate validator. You have to review the data, compare it to the actual realities on the production floor, and officially approve it to protect the company. An unverified AI standard is just a massive risk to the organization. We have covered a lot of ground today exploring Session 11, moving from the vital need for objective verification all the way through to creating rigorous SOPs, the power of company-wide expansion, and the smart, safe use of AI. So I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. The very next time you cut costs, will you just let those savings fade away into the chaos of daily operations? Or will you standardize and scale them into a permanent asset? The choice and the process is entirely in your hands.